die from guns. Homicides, suicides, and tragic avoidable accidents. That is 33,000 people a year. Now, if something else were killing 33,000 Americans a year, you can bet we would be doing whatever it took, or some rare disease or some other kind of ailment. We would be doing everything we could to try to save lives. That is what this is about. So I am fighting for comprehensive background checks, close the gun show loophole, close the online loophole, close the so-called Charleston loophole. Now, Senator Sanders voted 5 times against the Brady bill. He voted to make it more difficult to shut down gun dealers who sold guns that ended up in criminals' hands. He voted for the time limit that was placed on how long you could conduct a background check. And I want to tell you what that means in real life. Under that law, he supported, at the end of 3 days, you get your gun whether or not the background check has been completed. So, the killer in Charleston, South Carolina, he went to buy a gun. At the end of 3 days, he came to pick it up. They hadn't finished the background check. Within 24 hours, they would find he wasn't eligible to buy that gun. But under the law, they had to turn the gun over to him. Now, he took that gun. He went to that venerable church, Mother Emanuel, in Charleston. It was a Wednesday night. People were there for Bible study. He went in. They invited him in.
Yes, they did.
They were following their faith. Welcome the stranger. And they did. And he came in there, he sat for an hour and listened to the Bible study discussion, and then he pulled out that gun and murdered 9 people. Now, we have got to stand up to those whose only interest is in selling more guns. And that's why when Senator Sanders voted for, and Barack Obama and I voted against, giving immunity from liability to gun makers and sellers, we were right not to grant that kind of blank check. And right now, the parents of the Sandy Hook victims, 20 little children, 6 teachers, including the principal, murdered by that disturbed young man. Sandy Hook parents are channeling their grief into trying to do something to save other people's children's lives. So they're suing the manufacturer. And they're saying, look, you were selling that weapon to young people, and you were selling it on the basis that it would kill a lot of people. It's a military-style weapon.
Right, that's right.
They're bringing very good arguments. I don't know whether the arguments would prevail in a court, but the NRA is going to move that they can't even bring that case because of the bill that Senator Sanders voted for, that they are immune from those kinds of questions or accountability. There's no other industry in America that gets that kind of free pass. So please join me in this fight to get us to where we have more common sense gun measures to save lives. And so really, you know, the first test you should ask yourself about anybody running for president is, can they produce results? Can they protect our rights? Can they make our lives better? The second test is, can you keep us safe? And because you're also voting for commander-in-chief. And I will tell you this. I feel very blessed to have had those 8 years as a senator from New York following 9/11, where I had a terrible, terrible introduction to the kind of brutality and evil that could be visited on us. And then as Secretary of State, I took part in the most consequential counterterrorism decision that we've had to make, and that is to go after bin Laden. And I was honored to be in the small group of people advising President Obama. And I gave him my opinion, which was that the mission was worth undertaking, but it was up to him to decide. That's what presidents have to do. The easy decisions get made somewhere else. The hard decisions end up in the Situation Room on the desk of the president. That's why we've got to be united in our fight against terrorism, and I want to just make this point because I feel really strongly about it. when you listen to either Donald Trump or Ted Cruz say the really shameful and offensive things they say, they're also dangerous. When Trump says, well, let's bar all Muslims from coming to the United States, a country founded on religious liberty. This city was a beacon of religious liberty. When he insults the religion of more than 1 billion people, and when a president has to form a coalition of many nations to go out and defeat ISIS and other terrorist groups, the job gets harder if you've got somebody running for president insulting the religion of the people who live in the nation you want in the coalition to defeat the terrorists.
That's right. That's right.